Hello everyone. I know it's been a few months since I've done some videos. I had a lot of outpouring of concern and support. Everything is okay now. I was going through some stuff, some personal stuff, and I just kind of took a step back from everything. I do apologize for having not done videos. And so we're going to jump right into some books because I have some things I want to touch bases on as normal. So this might be a little bit longer video than normal. First, some books that I picked up recently that I really liked. This is a cover purchase. Marvel Zombies #2, Black, White, and Blood. That kind of reminded me of the old Frank Miller, Daredevil on the cross. I just liked it. So I picked it up. It is the holiday season. I picked this up this past week. It's Old Saint Nick looking a little menacing right there. I believe this book is called Silent Night, issue #1, Silent Night. Really like it. There's that. Stuff of Nightmare Sleigh Ride. This was a 1 in 10. And this is the old, kind of Dr. Seuss type of, Grinch Stole Christmas type thing. Kind of reminded me of like a Walking Dead right there a little bit. But of course, that's supposed to be the dog. There's the Grinch. So really, really cool cover. Sold really well. A lot of people grabbed it. Up next, this is Stuff of Nightmares. This is Sleigh Ride. This is #1. That's a cool looking Santa right there. And it is a glow in the dark book. So I haven't, put it under the light and looked at it in the dark, but really cool. And again, I like Christmas covers, especially menacing Santa Christmas covers, kind of a Silent Night, Deadly Night type thing. So I like that. Next up, a book that came out this week as well. Really, really cool cover. I haven't quite read the story yet, but they had 3 different covers, and this is the one I thought was the best of the 3. This is Invasive #1. Really cool right there. Book that came out either last week or the week before. We talk about bondage covers and things like that. This is a perfect example. This is Crave #1. There's one cover there. And another cover here. And again, there was a lot of things. I was still picking up my weekly books. Not as much as I normally do, but when I see a really cool cover, we've talked about this, that you just want to jump all over it. Next up, let's see, what can we talk about now? Oh, I picked up 4 really nice giant size books from the 70s, the square bound. They're hard to find in high grade. I found these in high grade. First one up is Giant Size Iron Man #1 from 1975. There's that. And of course, you can see the square bound looks pretty good, which is hard to find in these because usually the bottom portion is crushed down. Not so much on this, so really happy with that one there. I also picked up a Giant Size Chillers #2. Same thing, you can see how the square bound looks really, really nice. There's a great cover on that. Giant Size Spider-Man and the Man-Thing #5, 1975. There is the spine there, looks pretty good. A little lower here, but this is a high-grade book as well. And then finally, it wouldn't be a giant size if I didn't get Giant Size Dracula #2, a bondage cover. This is from 1974. And again, really, really nice square bound cover. And again, you pay a little bit more for them because they are hard to find in really, really high grade. Next up, there was a Black Friday sale at my local comic book shop, one of my local comic book shops, Fandomverse. And I picked up the Hush Saga Omnibus. You can see how thick it is. It's a real thick book. And with the Black Friday sale and the discount, this cost me less than $70. This is a $150 book. They gave really, really good discounts on Black Friday. And so I was all over the omnibus. Like everybody else was in there grabbing the big omnibuses and, the collections, the collections and everything else. So very happy with that there. Also picked up a couple of PreCode books. I did a library show first week of November, and I picked these up from my friend Joe at the show. This was, the first one is a super low grade Shock Suspense Stories #18. This is the last issue. No, this is the last issue of this one here. Really nice cover. You can kind of see here where someone did a whole hole punch, which, if you find a lot of books like this, that was kind of a popular thing to do, put it in a binder so you can read them. But that's really nice. But again, it's a low grade, but you know what? It's a cool cover. It is a shock suspense stories, and it is a PreCode book from 1954. Next up, another one, 1951. This is cover attached. It is, got, the typical issues with a lot of the PreCode stuff, a little bit of writing on the yellow. This is Wanted number, is there a number on here? Wanted number 33. I wrote it on the back because it's missing the little piece up here where it would have told you what the thing is. Wanted number 33, spiderweb cover. This is, well, it's listed in the, what do you call it? The price guide. So there's that there. Really nice looking cover. Really happy about those two things. Whenever I can find PreCode, I'm going to start buying this. We'll talk about that kind of at the end of the video, kind of my focus on things right now. I also picked up, you remember I showed that Planet Comics I picked up at a show. I thought it was going to be a 2.5, and I sent it to CGC because, again, we talked about things. If you want a book that's just going to stay encapsulated, I don't care about reading it, just to keep it fresh, here it is. It came back a 4.0, Planet Comics number 36. There it is right there. Really cool looking cover right there. It's kind of a iconic cover. Hard to find this book. This book is really hard to find, and it sells really well when people do find it. So I picked up the Planet Comics number 36. So I was happy with that, but I was unhappy with the next book. I sent a Canto number 1, first print. I looked at this book and there was nothing wrong with this book. And if you've watched this video enough, you know that I really take my time, and I'm only going to send recent books in that I know are going to come back 9.8. You've seen my videos. They come back 9.8 all the time. This one came back a 9. I didn't know why it came back a 9, so we looked at it, and you can see where CGC, when they were looking at the book, grabbed it at the spine and cracked the spine and 2 finger imprints in the back. So there is another example of CGC not caring about your books, blowing through them, and then just throwing a grade on it without saying, oh, you know what, we made a mistake, what can we do? They don't do that. So, you know what, I'm pretty much, everything I say about CGC, I did this just because I have a friend whose shop sends books into CGC. I was going to get a quick turnaround time on it. Never again. CGC will never see another one of my books. I just did it. I did the encapsulation for the Golden Age book, but if I'm going to get books encapsulated just for, protection, it's going to go to CBCS. They messed up this Canto. This was a 9.8. This book is really hard to find in 9.8. You cost me a lot of money because of your stupid thumb and fingers issue. So thank you so much, CGC, for that. You just really, pissed me off with things like that. So a couple things. I had taken some time away. As you know, I was in the military, and sometimes I deal with things from my time in the military, and I have to take steps back in order to refocus my attention on things, and that's what I had to do. I had to sit back and refocus, and unfortunately, during that time of trying to reflect on things, my wife's father passed away, and my dog Oso, my family dog Oso, the pit bull that you always said, if you hear him barking in the background, that's him. He passed away. So there was just a lot of things happening at once. I was taking a lot of big shots, body blows, and I just had to step back and, focus on how I want to do things. So this is kind of how I'm going to do things. I am going to continue to do the local shows. As it relates to new books, I'm going to be very specific and very minimal of what I buy on new books. I will show the books that I buy in future videos, but I am concentrating now on things like this. This is what I want. I'm trying to build up a private collection again. Here, the giant sizes I'll do, that Planet Comics, I'll do things like that. Bondage covers like I showed you on the Crave, covers that I think are really cool. I'm going to start buying books based off of covers and not so much story anymore. If I want the stories, then you know what? I will buy the compendiums, I will buy the trades and do it that way. Comic books have just gotten so expensive that it becomes financially unsustainable for a lot of people. And, like this Godzilla book, I love it. I think it's great. I heard the movie is fantastic. The sound is spot on. It's $15. People can't afford that. They had the Godzilla and they had a King Kong for the same price. King Kong wasn't very impressive to me, so I didn't buy a King Kong. I did get a Godzilla, but at $15, I'm going to get a Godzilla. Because that's pretty much all you can afford. If I can buy things like this on sale, then I'll do that as well. It's just too many covers, too many, niche-y things. A lot of the, what do you call it? I can't think of it now. I can't think of it. They're redoing a lot of the, the number ones, the classic issues. Marvel's doing a lot of that. DC's doing a lot of that. You know what? That's great. Those sell good too. This past week, it was like Batman number 5 came out. They had like 3 different covers for that. They had a foil cover and a regular cover and a blank cover. It's too much. It's too much. They're expensive. $6.99, $7.99. Obviously, a lot of people can't afford that. A lot of shops are taking big hits on things, and I understand that. I mean, everybody's got to kind of tighten the belts on things during this time. We have a shop here locally that's closing at the end of the month. One of the local shops just couldn't do it anymore, and they're gonna have to step away. So, whenever a shop has to, close down, that's kind of a red flag. But publishers and stuff don't care about that. The community cares about that. So I'm going to step back. I'm going to pick up, like I said, books that I like, some vintage books that I like, a lot of the Bronze Age, monster books, things like that. In the end of January, I got the card right here, actually. This is Sunday, January 28th at the Rainbow Library on Cheyenne and Buffalo. I am going to be selling at that show. We're going to have a lot of books. We're going to have some dollar books. We're going to have some really nice things that are going up there. Those are the way I'm going to do that. I'm going to start selling off a lot of the modern stuff at blowout prices. Just, come buy some books, say hello. I am going to have some vintage, not a ton of vintage because, I haven't been buying a lot of vintage lately. It's just hard to find and people are overpaying for it. People are overgrading it and think that just because it's old, they can get whatever they want for it. And it is your right to do that, but it's not for me. So there's that. Again, this video was kind of all over. It wasn't as long as I thought it would be, kind of a short video because I kind of showed everything I wanted to show. I got to get back into the groove. I just wanted to do a video, let everybody know, look, I'm here. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all the concern. But you know what, sometimes things like that happen to me. So I can't help that. I hope everybody does come out. We're going to talk about the show, in January, end of January, at the library. It's a great show. You can come out, get some books. Well, just say hello. I don't care about that. Also, until the end of the month, if you are a box customer at Fandomverse, all reader things like, modern stuff, 30% off. He's giving 30% off. I told him I'd throw that out there for him. Neil, there you go. That's, it's a great deal. You can get 30% off books, and, even if it's just for the month of December, it's a big savings and may allow you to buy a couple of other, things for the holidays or a couple of extra issues you may or may not have been able to get without the discount. So there was that. Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. This community, the viewers that watch this channel, you're the one who keeps me going. You're the ones who, force me to kind of trudge forward and not get sucked into an abyss and a dark hole. But sometimes, things happen, as we know. We've talked about that before, but I'm now ready to move forward and start doing some weekly videos again. There'll be a little bit more content, a little bit more organization with videos. I just said, it's time to do a video, and I threw something together. I hope you liked it. At the show, though, I am also going to have a lot of dollar books that aren't dollar books. And so, first come, first serve on those. I do like 35 books for $25, so you're getting them for less than $1. And they're all bagged and boarded. I just don't throw books in a box and say, here you go. So there was that. So with that said, that's pretty much all I have right now. I hope you liked the video, but as always, if you didn't, nothing I can do for you. Have a great, great day. Be safe. Have a great holiday, and I will see you next week. I promise.